how to make new friends, especially when you're an adult. You want to learn how? Well, stay tuned and watch. This is Alexandra Villarroel Abrego and welcome to another episode of AlexandraTV. I am here today at the Centre de Sciences de Montréal. I am here because first of all, it's the Grand Prix weekend here in Montreal, so of course there's a lot of different events, a lot of festivities going on. But second of all, because there's an event here today that is very special, it is called Brunch in the City. It's actually a friend of mine who has created this event a few years ago. This is the 5th edition and it's an event where all of the beautiful women of Montreal, all of the beautiful, especially the female entrepreneurs here in Montreal, they get together. We kind of have this like brunch where we have hors d'oeuvres that go around for everyone. There's different vendors everywhere, and it's a very, very nice event that combines fashion but also entrepreneurship. So I'm here today, of course, to support my friend and also to enjoy the drinks and the hors d'oeuvres and all of what is going on here today. And in this week's episode, I wanted to share with you, well, how can you make new friends, especially when you're an adult? You know, when you're younger, it's a little easier to make friends because you go to school and, you know, you have your classrooms where there's other kids that are your age. You have a lot of things in common, of course, because you're going to school, in the same school, you're taking the same classes. So it can be a little easier, of course, to make friends. But then once you become an adult, it can be a little more difficult, right? So find friends, especially that you have things in common with, right? So find friends that you can actually do things that you both like, if I can say it like that. So it's going to be hard sometimes to find those people and to make friends. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you the 4 different tips that you can use in order to make new friends, even if you are an adult now. Tip number 1, check your energy. What does this mean? Well, this is actually a concept that I've created, that I've thought about, because here is what you have to understand. There are different levels of reality in the world, right? So there's different levels in the world that you can reach, different realities that you can be part of. Now, if you are in this reality and you want to be friends with someone who is in this reality, your energy is not going to match their energy. Your frequency, okay, the waves that you emit in the world are just not going to match their frequency. So you're not going to be able to be friends with that person. Now, in order to be friends with certain people, maybe you see people and you admire them and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could be friends with that kind of people. I wish I could have those kinds of friends. Well, you're going to have to, instead of running after them and trying to chase them and pursue them, which is the worst thing that you can do, whether it be in friendships or relationships, well, what you have to do instead is you have to find ways to elevate your level of energy, right? To elevate your frequency in the world. So that's what I want you to do. Now, I want you to think about the kind of people that you would like to have as your friends. And ask yourself, how can you match their level of frequency? You know, how can you match their energy? I truly and strongly believe in this. And I believe in this because I've seen it happen in my life over and over again. Just to give you an example, I remember I had 2 of my friends that were 2 twins back in high school. And we would always all, you know, chill together and go to parties together. Even when I was 18, 19, we're always all like a big crew of friends. Now, when I started my business and began writing my book, I let go of a lot of the people that I used to hang out with because, first of all, they didn't understand what I was doing. They all thought I was crazy, and I knew that I didn't want to be in that reality anymore. So I knew I had to elevate my energy. So I started to kind of drift away from them. Now, what happened is that years later, they also started their business, and I didn't even know about it. Last year, I went on Google and I wrote Crystals Montreal because I was looking for crystals because I love everything that has to do with crystals and all of that good stuff. And I saw a website called Crystal Dreams. Then I go on their Facebook page. I started looking through the picture and I see a picture of them both, of the 2 twins. And I'm like, what are they doing there? And then I find out that they're the owners. I go on Facebook to write them a message and I see that they sent me a message back in 2012, but I received so many messages that I didn't see the message. I didn't get to see it. So then we got in touch and now today we're again friends, you know, and that's because my level of energy changed and then they elevated their level of energy and then here we are today in the same reality, right? So that's very important to understand when it comes to making new friends. You have to ask yourself, does your level of energy, sorry about that, there's a kid going crazy, does your level of energy match the level of energy of the person that you're trying to be friends with? The second tip that I have for you is, what do you bring to the table? So what do you bring to the table in any friendship, ask yourself, you know, everyone brings something to the table. And if you don't bring something to the table in a friendship, well, instead of trying to make new friends, you should focus on you and focus on what can you improve inside of you, in your inner world, in your inner self, in order to bring great things to the table in whatever your relationship you wish to enter. So you can maybe bring to the table positivity. You can bring maybe you're funny, so maybe humor. You can bring maybe, I don't know, like kindness. I don't know, you can bring anything to the table, but you have to ask yourself, in any relationship, what can you bring to the table? And by knowing what is, in a way, your worth, what value can you bring to someone else's life, well, it's going to be much easier for you to be confident and therefore attract people in your life and start making new friends. The third tip that I have for you, and this one, you can do it unless you have gone through the first two ones, all right? So the third tip that I have for you is to take initiative, okay? Very often when we're adults, we become very proud, right? So we don't want to reach out to people and we don't want to take initiative, but you have to take initiative. Think about back when you were a child, you know, very often you would go to other kids and say, you want to play with me? Hey, you want to come over? Hey, you want to do this? You want to do that? So take initiative today as an adult. So maybe you meet someone, I don't know, at an event and then you exchange business cards. Well, maybe you can be the first one to call them. Maybe you can be the first one to send them an email and say, hey, I have this other event going on next week. Would you like to come with me? You know, I have a +1. So take initiative. Don't be too proud. You know, when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships or even friendships, there shouldn't be any pride, you know. There should always be dignity, always. But when it comes to being proud, I don't think it's the right way to do things. So just take initiative when it comes to making new friends. And finally, the fourth tip that I have for you, and this one is a little more kind of to maintain a friendship, is thoughtful gestures and making efforts. Whether it be in a love relationship or in a friendship, you have to be thoughtful. You have to make nice gestures. You can't always expect to receive and never give. You know, it's a two-way stream. So like I said, this also applies for love relationships, romantic relationships. But if you want to maintain good friendships, you have to be thoughtful. You have to make nice gestures. You know, think about the person once in a while. Send them a nice message. You know, if something nice happens in their life and you can be there, well, send flowers. You know, just nice, thoughtful gestures is always something nice. For me, I know that in my life, the people that I value the most, that I see as amazing friends, are people like that I know that I can count on as much as they can count on me, right? And I make sure that I do thoughtful gestures. I make sure that I'm always making efforts to maintain the relationship. I think that friendships are very important. Very often we talk about love relationships, we talk about work relationships, but people don't talk about friendships. And there's a difference between an acquaintance and a friend, right? A real friend. And I think that as adults, we should all have friends. I remember once seeing that there was a study that was made that says that it's good for your health, literally good for your health, to have a good social life. So make sure you follow these 4 steps, and trust me, like that, you're going to start attracting and therefore creating your tribe. So that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you someone who is maybe too shy to make friends? Are you someone who has a lot of friends or maybe not a lot of friends? And what are your tips to have a more social life, really? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you like the video, don't forget to like, don't forget to share with all of your friends, and of course to subscribe for new episodes now this summer every Saturday. You don't want to miss them every Saturday, and we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. So please subscribe and share this channel and the videos that you like with your friends. So that is it for this week's episode, and I will see you next week.